co-owner of Sharpeshipments, which is an eBay store. We sell a variety of items, anything from toys to tools to clothing. Today I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the reality of reselling on eBay. So when I first started selling on eBay, I did look up and watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos just about really the how-to of things. I kept seeing videos that were saying crazy things, like people were selling thousands and thousands of worth of stuff a month. So that's the first thing I really want to talk about. Now, just to start, the month of September was the first month I really started doing it full time. I fully engaged, and we did sell over $3,600 worth of items. And just so you know, when people are saying that they sold that amount of money, that's not the profit, that's the gross sales. So after you take into account shipping, any supplies you might need like bubble wrap, tape, anything, and then the cost of goods, then that number gets significantly lower. It's usually about 50%, at least that's what it was for us. So even though we brought in about $3,600 worth of items, we only profited about half that, which is still really good. We are beginner resellers, but I just wanted to give everybody a more realistic view of it because I kind of have a moral objection. I keep seeing people posting about crazy amounts of money they make, and it's true, they are selling that amount of items, but you don't actually know how much money they are profiting from that. I'm not trying to be a downer about the reselling business at all. I think it's a great avenue, especially for people like me. I am technically a single mom of 2 toddlers. It was really a struggle to keep a job when my kids would get sick constantly, and it was super, rigorous schedules, things like that. It made it very, very complicated. I was kind of at a breaking point where I was like, I'm not even enjoying life at this point. I need to figure out a different way to make money. So I did decide to sell full-time, and it has worked out really great for me. I get to be here with my kids while also working from home and making videos, so I love it. I'm not trying to say anything derogatory about it, but I do want to give people who are looking to do it a realistic point of view. And I just want to say that it's not something that you should quit your job over. It's definitely something that people slowly build up inventory for and get to a top seller rating before making any kind of major life changes. For me, it was a very abrupt major life change. Like I said, it was a very emotional decision. It's not something I would necessarily encourage anyone to do. I am extremely fortunate. My boyfriend has been wanting to start a business for years and years and years. He had the capital built up to do it, so he actually bought his first liquidation lots last Christmas, almost a year ago, and they essentially sat in his basement. He just didn't have time. He works full-time too. Doing this kind of business while working full-time is very, very hard. When I did start doing this, I was doing it when I was working full-time for an insurance company, and I was staying up essentially until 2, 3 a.m. just listing items, and I burnt out very quickly. So it's not something that you want to put all of your energy towards unless you have the time to do it. I really recommend this type of business for anyone that's, say, like a stay-at-home mom, anyone that might have a disability where it makes it hard to get out of the house. Maybe they could list and have a family member or somebody close to them bring the items to the post office. It's not something that you want to jump on board with unless you have the capital built up or the time to do it. So at the time I didn't have necessarily the time to do it because I was working full-time, but I saw an opportunity to escape the 9-to-5 life. It just worked out for me that way. I think anyone with toddlers can kind of understand where I'm coming from with this, where when you are trying to work full-time and balance a family, it's extremely hard, so you start to look at life a little bit differently. Like, if I'm working full-time making X amount of money, but I'm spending more money on comfort food and other things and paying for a nanny, babysitter, daycare, whatever, you end up not really making money in the long run. So building a business seems more profitable in the long run because you are building something for yourself. So with all that emotional nonsense out of the way, I just wanted to really give you guys the true backstory of why I started doing this. So I'm going to just give you a quick rundown of the items that we sold in September. This is just to give you an idea of the type of items that we do sell. lot of those items seem very miscellaneous. It's kind of all over the place. There's vinyls and electronics and books. So I want to give you more insight up to where I source items from. So like I said, my boyfriend did buy his first liquidation lot a year ago. Since then, we have been mainly sourcing from liquidation.com. It is a great site that does auctions on all types of different items. There's appliances, electronics, books, literally anything you can think of. Now, there's a lot of pros to this, but there are also cons. So I'll start with the pros. The pros are you're getting a ton of items at a very discounted rate. So we average about $300 to $400 per lot that we buy, and that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to put up front, but when we get 100 items at a time and we paid $400, that makes each item, the cost of goods, $4 per item. So sometimes you'll get really, priority 3 items like crayon boxes, colored pencils. I get these all the time that they're not going to necessarily sell, or you're not going to make $4 off of. So it's really for the top items. So one thing that we keep getting, because we keep looking for, are these specific watches that sell instantly, like within 24 hours. The first time we listed it actually sold, like, I'm not even lying, like 30 seconds after we listed it. This particular watch goes for about $100. So when we buy a lot and each cost of good is about $4, and one of the items sells for $100, that's already paying 1/4 of the box. So that's why we source from liquidations, but I do promise I'm going to be making a video specifically about liquidations, the how-to from that. The second way I source is from thrift stores. This is one of my least favorite ways to source, only because my specific area, the demographic I live in, doesn't have really good high quality items. We don't have tons of designer items that people give away. It's really, really hard to find items in my area. I do have to branch outwards, which I am looking to do soon, but it's just hard to find the time. And then other ways we source are from Letgo or Facebook Marketplace. My boyfriend is actually really good at this. He will look for a particular item, let's just say like shoes, and he will meet with the buyer, pay that, and then we list them hoping to make some profit off of it. The problem is these people want what they paid for, or a little bit less than what they paid for these items, especially if they're brand new and in great condition. So it's not my favorite way to source, especially because I despise anything to do with customer service. So that actually leads me into the cons about reselling. There are so many perks to reselling. Like I said, you're working from home, you get to do things on your own time, you're building your own business, but a huge con is that it's a lot of customer service work, surprisingly. Now, as soon as I turned 14, I got my first job in customer service, and I've been doing that basically ever since. So years and years and years and years of customer service. And anyone who's ever worked retail, customer service, food service, anything like that knows how frustrating it is. I still struggle with it. I worked in a call center for 3 to 4 years. I think it was like on the 4-year line. And that's, like, in my opinion, the epitome of dealing with angry customers, because you're essentially, people are calling in to complain. So I heard that for years and years and years, and even with all my experience with customer service, I still struggle with it. For example, this past September, I sold a ton of textbooks, and one was in perfect mint condition. This textbook probably retailed for $70 to $100. I think I sold it for $13, even though it was brand new. And the buyer got it, and they wanted to return it, and they said, "There's nothing wrong with it, I just don't like it." So you deal with stuff like that. Like, how do you not just like a textbook? Like, it's a textbook. You use it to learn. So that's a con to it. If you're not into dealing with customer service and you take it personal, which sometimes I do, this might not be the job for you. Another con, which might be a con for you, but isn't necessarily for me, is that you are alone so often. I call this area my cave, because I am literally in an isolated basement, not talking to anybody, just essentially listening to podcasts all day for literally hours a day when I'm not with my kids. So if you are one of the people that like to socialize and you like to go to a 9 to 5 job and you like to kind of end your day at 5 o'clock and not bring work home with you, then this isn't necessarily the type of business you want to get into, because it is lonely. You can get lonely. And then the customer service part of it is tough. Another part that is really tough is it's a lot of like sweatshop work. Me and my boyfriend always laugh about this because I am the hustle. He's definitely the brains. He does most of the sourcing. He has a background in analytics and management, so he does all of that work, and I do the heavy lifting. I go through the boxes, I test items, I bring the lots in literally from the curb, from where the freight trucks drop it off, to the basement while he's at work. I do all of that. I do all the cleaning for the items. I do the testing. And it's a lot. It may seem so simple, like you get an item, you list it, you sell it, but there's so much in between that if you haven't sold anything yet, you're going to learn short. So one very important thing you have to decide pretty early on in the business, in my opinion, is where you want to take it. When I did leave my job, I knew that I had to make up for that salary that I was making, and to do that, we had to bring the business to scale. Luckily, my boyfriend has a good background in this, so he does understand the logistics of it, and to me, like, I just try to be optimistic and positive about it and not think about the numbers as much, but he is more real with it. He's more like, no, we have to sell X amount of dollars worth of items a day for us to make enough profit for you to be sustainable from what you're lacking from leaving your job, essentially. So I always say, like, it is what you put into it. So if you're only starting, if you only have $100 to start out with, and you only have a couple hours a week to dedicate to this, this isn't a business that you're going to be able to make into thousands of dollars profitable within just a couple months. It does take more than that. This is something that I recommend to people that do want to supplement income, though. It is a good way to make some profit. It's pretty straightforward. It is tough. The technical parts of it are a little bit tough to get at first, which is why I really want to start this beginner series, because I want to help people that are getting started. I was completely blindsided and clueless when I first started. I felt really frustrated, and I felt like a lot of the videos were very like, look at me, I'm making tons of money, blah 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 blah. And for my video series, I really just kind of wanted to make it straightforward. This is how you do this, this is how you do this, this is the reality of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry if I sounded like a downer in this video. I didn't mean to come off like that at all. I just wanted to show more of the realistic side of things, and anyone that wants to get started that might not have the money, just to show them the reality of it, so that if they do get started, they're not wasting money, or they're not completely confused about what to do next. Like I said, I will make a video in the future about liquidations, because that really is where the money is. Thrift storing, if you go to the thrift store and source items, it is, you can make profit off of it, but I really think that if anyone's looking to this full time or just take it up a notch, you want to get into liquidations. You want to strategically source so that you know that you're going to be making profit from what you're selling. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great day.